I'll wait for this tractor to go past just to get rid of the noise. 3, 2, there's a doggy in that tractor. How's it going? Right, today the plan. We're gonna see, obviously we still got to operate during the pandemic that's going on at the minute. I've got a couple of jobs booked in today. It's getting quite hard and quite tricky to get customers to book in with works. Obviously it's understandable. They often are closed at the minute, or they're reduced hours, or they're working from home, and the last thing they want or feel like they need is our regular maintenance and fire checks and things going on. Of course it is something that is required. Official government guidelines, we are classed as essential workers. The problem is insurance companies. If you own a business, your insurance will still tell you that you need to use, if you own a business, your insurance will still tell you that you're responsible for fire safety. It'll have small print in there and such things that will say things like that you must adhere to British standards, you must adhere to UK fire regulations, UK safety regulations, you're still responsible under the 2005 Fire Reform Act. All that kind of still is in place. So whilst official government advice may be for you personally, your business or your premises is not to go there or not to have anybody around, if something was to happen, then you wouldn't be necessarily covered by your insurance policy. And we all know what insurers are like at the minute. They'll use any excuse, and I don't think they're anywhere near moral enough to say, actually, we'll sort of give you the benefit of the doubt on this one, and we understand why you didn't get this, that and the other done. The truth is, well, statistically, if a fire is going to cause an issue, or if there is going to be an issue resulting in fire at a premises, it is far more likely to happen when nobody's in the building. So in many aspects, whilst buildings, shops, cafes, pubs, these things are shut down at the minute, it's more crucial than ever to make sure that your fire alarm, your extinguishers, your general fire safety is maintained and everything's working fine, working well. Simply because the best fire detection system is us as people. 99% of the time, we spot issues before they arise. Either we smell burning, we notice smoke, or suddenly an appliance stops working. Fire just doesn't suddenly ignite and the appliance still works. Usually what happens is it overheats first, it starts to fault, it starts to cause an issue, there's a wiring issue, there's a heating, some sort of electrical fault. That stops that appliance from working. Maybe the lights go out, maybe the computer switches off, whatever it may be. That alerts you to a situation, and then you go and investigate. And then when you go and investigate, you notice that something's not right, you turn everything off. So often you stop the incident way before it even becomes an incident. So it's a balance, isn't it? How much is too much? We initially told everybody we weren't coming out, we're regular maintenance and stop for a bit, and we'll only do urgent calls and emergency calls, call outs, that sort of thing. That quickly changed after a couple of weeks, and we realised that this is going to be ongoing. And we have got customers that, like I say, still need to keep on top of things, and regular maintenance is the best way to keep everything running smoothly. It's understandable because it's a cost at the minute when maybe a lot of people aren't making money, but that's just life at the moment. Unfortunately, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to our customers, and the customers legally have a responsibility as well. So that's that. Anyway, today I've got a couple of really cool jobs actually. We're going to go check out a caravan park, or say a caravan. It's caravan and camping / glamping park. Really good one actually. These guys are fantastic. They came on board. This will be coming up to their first full year really. They came on board. Yeah, so it'd be almost 12 months. Slightly under, because we kind of took over the alarm a little bit afterwards. So basically, so these guys really good. They came on board, really positive. They've done everything they need to be. So this hopefully today will be a great example of how a caravan, leisure park, camping park, that sort of site should look, caravan site, that should look. It's a great example of exactly how everything should be done, having the right equipment in the right place with the right training. They've done everything perfectly. So we're going to do their fire extinguishers a little bit early. This has been agreed because we took over their alarm system a few months after it was installed. Their first 6-month check is going to be about 3 months early for the fire extinguishers. That makes sense. So to bring everything in line and to stop having to go out several times to the customers at an expense to the customer, we're going to bring the fire extinguishers forward by 3 months this time, so it ties in with one of the 6-month checks on the alarm. And then we're only doing 2 visits at that premises a year, not doing 3 visits and charging the customer more money and more upheaval. The other job we're going to do is we're going to look at a local pub. Again, they're shut at the moment, so that should be quite interesting. And yeah, it'll be just quite interesting to show you the PPE. We've got our PPE gloves, medical gloves, we've got masks, we've got glasses, we've got my antibacterial wipes, and I've got my alcohol gel. So without further ado, I think we shall get to the caravan park. Right, here I am on site. As you can see, mask on. I imagine the sound isn't great talking through this. Fully PPE'd up, ready to go. So let's go inside and crack on. So the first thing is to switch on the emergency lights to start the 3-hour test while we're doing everything else. Then it's the alarm panel just to do some basic checks before testing the batteries, and then moving straight onto the detectors and the call points. Note that some of the detectors are staying on. This is usually down to residue, dust, particles, etc. that stay on the sensor, but this can be easily rectified usually by a quick clean with something like a vacuum cleaner. However, one of the smoke detectors just wasn't playing ball, so I had to get up, dismantle it and investigate further. So halfway through the alarm test, I've got through to one of the detectors in a lounge area, and when we've gone to test it manually using the smoke can, it's not activated. So we're going to try and diagnose this problem. I've got some spares. It's a standard Apollo head, so I've got some spares. I'm going to swap it over, see if we can test it and see if we can diagnose the issue and sort it out. But that's a really good example of exactly why you need to do these 6 months tests, because the alarm panel was showing no fault. There was nothing from the end of line resistor. There was no lights, there was no flags, there was nothing. Your weekly, monthly test, it would have gone off the sound. But when we actually test it manual, when we actually put smoke into it, it doesn't work. Moving from the inside to the outside into the camping field, I ditched the mask and gloves to crack on with the extinguishers. Bit of water in the bottom of the cabinet on that one, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. So I'm not expecting any issues with any of the extinguishers. I'm expecting it all to be really straightforward, really simple. This is literally the second time we've serviced these. They were commissioned, well, we commissioned them in 2019, so the customers bought these extinguishers in 2018 themselves. They bought them online. Typical story. I mean, they've been really cautious, but they just didn't realise that they had to have them commissioned and installed. And then obviously they contacted us when it was the first year's service, so it was at that point we did the commission, as it were. which was a good job because it obviously had things like transport seals and stuff like that on. So I'm not expecting any issues whatsoever. So we did have a bit of an issue with the alarm system in there. The couple of the detectors decided they weren't going to work. I changed the head, as hopefully you'd see, and then that didn't solve it. And then after a bit of playing, I got the detector, just seemed to be a bit slow. And then the one upstairs decided it didn't want to turn itself off, which is commonly the case. I cleaned it all out and hoovered it all out, which is often what you have to do. But it's still, well, once I hoovered it out, it was fine. But the residue stays on the sensor, and it does sometimes make it a little bit difficult. One of the extinguisher cabinets has a large build-up of water inside, so we drill a couple of drainage holes to stop this from happening in the future. In terms of the kit that they've got, it's adequate. Not sure if it was what I'd recommend myself. I probably would have gone for foams maybe. I probably would have steered clear of the powder, even though it is outdoors. I just think best steer clear of the powder. But yeah, I probably would have gone with, I'd probably gone with 6 litres to be honest with you. It saves them a bit of money. 6 litre foams and 2k CO2s. Or if they wanted to be a bit more, I think they've got a lot of expensive kit here. The Airstream Caravans, their actual property is expensive. That makes up for more of their trade, I imagine. So they want to protect their own property more than anything. So in that circumstance, I think maybe I've gone for a 9 litre foam and a 5k CO2. But this is adequate. All that's left to do now is put these extinguishers back. The only cabinet that I had to modify was that first one that was, I think it looks like it's probably next to a building, so it's getting a bit of rainwater on it, and it's in the shade. It just prolongs the life by making sure they stay dry, and then now what we've got to do now is just check those emergency lights and do the paperwork. All that is left to do now is don the mask on again. And back, here we are in the van. Right, time to do the paperwork. So the emergency lights were fine, everything else was fine. We had a few issues with that alarm system, but as you can see, that place shows you just how to do it properly, I think. You know, it's one of those places where they just take everything seriously. They've obviously got a lot of nice kit, and they want to look after it, and they want to look after their customers, which is the way to do it, I believe. Anyway, a couple of those issues with the detector head, so I'm going to mention them in the report just to give the customer some feedback. It's what I like to do. So if even I've had an issue like that where it turned out we didn't need to replace anything or actually physically fix anything, I did spend quite a little bit of time trying to solve the issue, cleaning that detector and getting it working again. I think also things like where we've drilled the holes in the drainage for the cabinet, I will make a note of that in the report and just let them know that there was a build-up of water in the bottom of those cabinets. The other cabinets were fine, but it may just be a case that the other cabinets were in direct sunlight today, so that water's evaporated. Different times of the year, though, different cabinets could be filling up. So it's something maybe they want to keep an eye on when they're doing their monthly checks. And just explain to the customer that if we do find like excessive rust on those extinguishers, we have to condemn them. So ultimately we're trying to save them money. We're not going to charge them for drilling those holes, it's pointless, but it just kind of shows the customer that we're constantly working towards doing a good job for them and making sure we save them money. So anyway, yeah, that's actually it for today. The other place we were booked in to go to, the pub, they've since emailed me whilst I was on that job and explained that they can't do today anymore. We're gonna head back to the office now. If you've got any question, guys, about fire safety, what your regulations are, what you think you should be doing right now with everything, you can always drop us an email, services@ampfire.co.uk. Likewise, always go onto our website, www.ampfire.co.uk. that's ampfire.co.uk. We've got loads of cool information on there, loads of information on the website. Check out the YouTube channel, there's playlists and stuff. We've got information about what you should be doing with fire risk assessments and things like that. And I do these sort of like what we call daily vlogs, I suppose, where we go out on site and we kind of show you different types of sites and give you an idea of what we would expect to find, what we think is good and what we think is bad. Today was a really good one. Today was a perfect example of exactly how it should be done. If you look on YouTube, there's plenty of examples, I think, where we have found poor things and bad things. But until next time, see you later, take care and be safe. That's what we've got to tell each other, be safe. Yeah, so yeah, take care, subscribe, like, do all that jazz.